Okay, Charlie, something exciting tonight. As you can probably see, we're doing a blind.
That's right. These aren't the void. They're bottles underneath these beautiful bags, and I don't know what they are.
I think you're going to like this. Stay tuned. Okay, Charlie, I've got a blind set up for you tonight.
I know, and you're all giddy about it.
Of course, I know what these are.
I'm really nervous.
You don't. So here's what I'm going to tell you about.
Okay.
This, okay. They are both priced at about $50 retail.
Okay. I like that.
They are both around the same proof.
Okay. All right.
One of them is a whiskey that's made by a large distiller.
Okay.
One of them is made by a craft distiller.
You're giving me a lot of information here. I already know what they are.
I don't think you do.
This is Jim Beam White Label, and that is, no, I don't know. Okay.
I don't think you do.
All right.
I do not think you do.
So what are we evaluating here?
Well, I just want
Can I pick out the craft versus the...
No, I want your honest opinion on both of them. I want you to tell me which one you like better.
Okay.
And if you want to try to guess which one's craft and which one isn't.
Okay.
Then
which one are we starting with?
Let's start with that one.
Okay, we're going to start with this.
Yep.
All right. At this point in the episode, Charlie is going to describe what's in his glass.
What are you seeing?
It appears to be a liquid.
That it does.
It's very light in color. I would say almost a yellow hue to it. It's very light.
It is very light, isn't it? It really sticks to the glass very well.
It does put a ring around the top, and it does kind of slowly stream down. It's a little oily.
It's got really tight legs, doesn't it?
Really, yeah, it is a really tight kind of pattern of how it runs down. Interesting. I'm going to now nose.
Let's nose.
Man, that smells so familiar. I mean, classic bourbon profile, right? I get some sweet corn. I get some brown sugar, and there's a little bit of char in there. I get a little bit of alcohol, a little bit of ethanol, but not a lot. It smells really familiar.
Yeah, you hit it. Excuse me. You hit the nail on the head. A lot of corn there, but very pleasant.
Yeah,
right?
It's all everything's very sweet, very approachable.
And it is super light.
Yeah, and this is not complex. I don't get any fruit. I don't get any. I get corn and kind of a sugary sweetness, a burnt sugar. There is a little bit of char.
A little caramel there.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, are you ready to taste it? Cheers.
Blinds.
Mystery bourbon.
I so wanted to put a big drink in my mouth and just go and spray it everywhere. Unscripted, but I knew
you didn't.
You would have to clean everything up because I would have been cackling like a child.
What do you think?
Yeah, very much the nose comes through in the palate. Not super complex. Big blast of sweetness up front. A little bit of tickle on the tongue. Which is, it's not spicy. It just kind of tingles the tongue, which I don't know if that's alcohol. First drink of the day, total disclosure.
I'll take another sip.
I'm going to go right back in.
I think I would agree with you. I think the palate really follows the nose. It's very good to me. I think it's got a great flavor to it. Like you said, not super complex, but kind of everything you want. Very easy sipper.
It is a very easy sipping bourbon. It does not have a lot of complexity. On the second drink, I'm getting much more, the sweetness is now kind of gone. I'm getting more of that tingle kind of on the roof of my mouth and maybe even on my lips. There's an oakiness or a dryness there that's borderline astringent. Okay. I'm not saying it's astringent. It's not a chemically taste, but there is a drying, could be oak, could not, but it's less sweet and more of that flavor. It is an easy sipper. It's pretty not bad.
I think it has a really nice finish. It's still kind of
hanging around. It does hang around for a while, but and it is my first drink of the day.
Well, we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. I got a little left in there. Okay.
Mystery bourbon number 2.
I'm going to palate cleanse because we're professionals.
That's right. That's what professionals do.
While I'm palate cleansing,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
make sure to like and subscribe here on our YouTube for more hard-hitting blind content like this.
Yes, do that. One more thing. One of these bourbons
It's poison. No.
was recently ranked in the top 25 by Fred Minnick of his 100 best bourbons or whiskeys of the year. And it's also won quite a few other gold medals, double platinums, blah, 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 for 2024.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm excited to talk about that particular side of the bourbon experience.
Very similar colors. This may be. I'm going to shut my mouth.
Yeah, it is definitely a shade darker, but that doesn't say much. This almost has a little more of an orange rather than a yellow. It is also a liquid, just for those of you watching.
It's also a liquid.
Very similar. It's very similar in its legs and its kind of oily nature.
It is.
I'm going to nose now.
Okay. Get that big honker in there.
I do have a big nose. Thank you. Very simple.
Actually, your nose is pretty. It's a decent size for the size of your body.
It'd be weird if I had a small nose.
It's about average.
This one's very muted.
It is.
It's very muted. There's not a whole lot there. Wow. That's
Pick anything specific?
I'm really gonna go. I'm gonna go in there and get nose deaf. Is what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I don't want to say anything until you finish your evaluation.
I am not getting much. I'm getting a little bit of sweetness. I'm getting a little bit of ethanol, but it is very. And this has been sitting there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting much, honestly. I'm going to go back and nose this one just to make sure that I haven't contracted COVID-19.
I agree. I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Go back to that one.
There's not a lot going on here.
Nose that one.
I feel like I do get a little bit more like baking spice on this one, though.
If you do,
Yeah.
It's night and day. Like this one actually has a nose. This one really doesn't.
And this one's a lot more like caramel and vanilla.
Yeah. It not complex, but super complex compared to this one.
Yeah, this one, there's some spice there, and that's about it.
That's about it. I don't get anything, which is very strange. Oh, now I'm really intrigued. Let's go.
Cheers.
Will the nose follow through?
We shall see.
I mean, yeah, it pretty much does. It tastes like whiskey. I honestly, I'm having a really hard time with this one. It tastes like whiskey. Doesn't taste like. I can't say, oh, that's a great bourbon, because this could just be whiskey.
No, they're bourbons. I'll tell you, they're both bourbons.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What I'm telling you is, if you poured this to me in a blind, which you did, I wouldn't be able to be like, oh, that is for sure a bourbon. It's got all the bourbon character. I'm going to drink one more time. While I'm doing that, remind the people that we sell merchandise.
Yes, we do. Check out the link on our page. I've been kind of slacking off on pasting the merchandise link in the comments, so I'll try to remember to do that. But even if I don't, it's in the show notes. Check it out. So on the bourbon, you can find great T-shirts,
golf towels, hats,
and hats. Hats
Wonderful.
are lovely. The hats are lovely. I want to say one thing about this one. I don't get quite the sweetness on it. I don't get the
any
caramel.
Don't get any.
Yeah,
I 100% agree with you. I don't get any. What I get from that one is nothing on the front. I get a little bit of tingle on my tongue, and it's my whole tongue, which I guess you could say that's baking spice. I'm not for sure. There is not much finish-wise. That baking spice just kind of hangs around. I have to be honest. I don't know if I like that. And it hasn't, it's been a while since we've had something that I'm like, I don't really care for that.
It has. We've kind of
and it's nothing
liked everything we've drank lately.
Yeah.
Even if we weren't in love with it.
And we'll kind of talk more about that because we do get some comments about like, you guys like everything. Well, yeah, well, we like bourbon. I really don't know what to say about that one, except for there's no nose and there's not a lot of flavor there. I'm not going to palate cleanse. I am going to palate cleanse. I'm going to palate cleanse. I'm going to finish off my number one.
All right, because I want your opinion on which one's craft, which one's major distiller, and which one you like better, which I think we already know that. But that could change. Let me go back to this one as well. The more I nose this one, the more I like the nose better on this one.
Okay, here's what I think. I think this is the craft, and I will tell you why. And I'm just going to go out there because I've got to swing for the fences here, because the last time we did a blind, Mr. Hockersmith here was like, tastes like a stag, and it was George T. Stag. So I got to follow that. Here's what I think. I think this one is the craft, and I will tell you why. Because I think that finish that I'm getting, that kind of astringent, I think it's youth. It wouldn't surprise me if this was a 3 to 5 year old bourbon. It is very sweet corn, very mellow, very drinkable. I like that in the sense that it's easy sipping. It's proofed right. I'm going to guess proof on these is in the 90s, maybe the low hundreds.
Okay.
I'm going to guess more in the 90s, because I'm going to guess it's in the 90s. This one, to me, I don't know what that is. I will be 100% honest. At first, I thought it was like, is it like a travel? Is it Traveler? Is it Traveler? Because that would be awesome. Because it feels very much like an attempt to be like, let's put something that is just brown water in a glass that people will drink, and people may enjoy that. But to me, no nose. It just has no nose, and it really has no palate. Like, there's no endearing qualities. If somebody asked me, "What that one tastes like?" Whiskey. Like, I don't even get a lot of oak character. So those are my guesses. That's what I'm going for. I like this one much more than I like that one.
All right. So we ready for the big reveal?
Yes.
Pull the bag off of that
Is
one.
Charlie a fool?
You nailed that.
Yes.
That's Starlight bottled in bond. That was number. What did old Fred rank this one in his?
4 years old, 100 proof.
Ranked number 21
Awesome.
out of 100 whiskeys.
Awesome. And this, I told you, it smelled familiar. It tasted familiar. That is that's a really solid pour. And we love Starlight.
So the reason I chose this one for the blind is I bought this several months back, and it's just been sitting.
Yeah.
I thought we don't need do another Starlight episode. I'd seen that it had won gold at San Francisco, got a double platinum in the Ascot Awards. So I bought it, and I opened it a couple weeks ago, and my first reaction when I poured it was like, oh my God, this is so light.
Yes, it is very
But
light.
then when I sipped it, I was like, this is really good. It's a really good sipping whiskey.
We'll go back to this one. I am dying to know what that one is.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. No.
E.H.Taylor, small batch, bottled in bond.
I will be 100% honest. I have been sipping on a bottle of small batch at a friend's house, and I have enjoyed it thoroughly. I feel like, oh no, now it's good.
Oh, now it's
Now
great.
it's good. It's great. It's a great bottle. You didn't tell me that the Colonel was on there. No, I kind of stand by. I 100% stand by what I said. And this is why I love blinds.
Yeah, I mean, they're both 4 years old. They're both 100 proof. Well, it's minimum 4 years old. I don't know the actual age on either one of these bottles. Don't know the mash bill on Starlight. E.H.Taylor's Rye Mash Bill 1. They're both $45, $50 for
I'll tell you which one.
suggested retail. Now, this one you're probably going to have to pay $100 for.
I can tell you which one you can find easier.
Absolutely.
What a great blind. That was a great blind. I am a little shocked. I really kind of want to run next door and get that bottle of E.H.Taylor we've been drinking on, because I've been really enjoying that, because we found it in the back of the cupboard. And I was like, oh, we should drink that.
That was a different year, probably. It's 2024. They can change from year to year.
I mean, it is small batch, but man, that's really, really remarkable. Really remarkable. What can you say? Let's talk about the ratings real quick. About people's whiskey ratings and us, I guess. I guess we got to talk about us, because we're part of the problem now too. It is very easy to get caught up in personalities and experts and influencers' opinions on bourbon and whiskeys and ryes, what we have always said since we started the channel is this is just our opinion, and we're kind of dumb. So what is important to remember when you're watching those reviews and things is the environment matters. The bottle that they have matters. What they ate before matters. What they drank during is, their palate and the mood they're in and how they're feeling. Do they have a head cold? Do they not have a head cold? All of those things factor into what that whiskey tastes like. So what I would always tell people, and what I tell people when they ask, we just had a family party over here the other night, and they said, what's your favorite bourbon? And I kind of went into the whole thing about moods, this, that, and the other. Just because I think something is great, or Glenn thinks something is great, or Mr. Minnick thinks something is great, that's just our palates.
100%. I find myself disagreeing with Fred Minnick on a lot of bottles. He's one that loves Larceny Barrel Proof. I rarely ever like Larceny Barrel Proof. I like Larceny.
I like the regular Larceny better. Yeah.
They always score high in his tastings for whatever reason. He's a weeder type of guy, I guess.
Yep. And I talked to, I guess you'd say a kid. He was in his 20s, and he said that he's trying to get more into bourbon, and he's buying the high-rated bottles. But he didn't come out and say it, but he's like, I'm trying to learn to love them, essentially. And I said, no, don't do that. If he said, hey, Brussels sprouts are the best food in the world, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, then don't try to make yourself like them. Find the whiskey, the bourbon, the rye. Maybe you're not a bourbon guy. Maybe you're a Scotch guy. Maybe you just like vodka and you're weird. Whatever. But don't fall into that trap of thinking that because so-and-so said something was good, that you think it will. This is all subjective.
Yeah, but on the other side of that, just because you try something once and didn't like it, doesn't mean you should never try it again, because I can't tell you how many times I've tried something and hated it, and then years later I tried it again and I love it. And
are you saying our palates change and our tastes change as we get older?
Just like you said, your palates change as you get older, your tastes change, situations change.
Yep.
But going back to Fred, and we talked about this bottle being in his top 25, I don't know how you taste 100 whiskeys in one sitting and have any real idea of what anything tastes like.
I think your tongue got numb.
Yeah, after 10 or so.
My tongue numb.
Fred is Fred. He's obviously has a great palate, and he's a professional at what he does. And I think he would even tell you this too. Like the same, he's probably not going to rate certain whiskeys the same as he would when he's tasting 100, as he would if he's tasting 5.
Yeah. It's all subjective. It's all fun. And the biggest thing is it's meant to do this. Like, this is what it's for, right? It's not for building. If you're building a whiskey collection, great, but open the bottles, share them, do a blind with your buddies, with your friends, with your neighbors, have your wife. I've got a buddy that he doesn't have a bunch of people over to his house. He'll just have his wife go pick 3 bottles, pour them in these 3 glasses, and remember which one's which. And he'll just do a blind right there. Yeah. And he told me, he's like, I can't tell you how many times where I'll be like, oh, that doesn't taste good. And he goes back to it. He's like, that's my favorite bottle. So
yeah.
That's what it's
also for. Another point to be made is, this is a $50 bottle retail. Before you go out hunting this and paying $100 for it, maybe try it somewhere. Try it at a friend's house, order it at a restaurant, make sure you like it.
Yeah.
Because I would say this is much more of a $50 bottle than a $100 bottle. And both of these bottles are. That's what they should be, right?
Yeah. But it does give me a lot of hope for the future with, companies like Starlight and all the craft distillers. And we know, and save your comments for us being craft honks, but future is very bright for bourbon in America, not just from the big boys, the Sazeracs and the Buffalo Traces and the Heaven Hills and Beams, but companies like Starlight are coming into 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old whiskeys, bourbons, ryes.
Absolutely.
Those are going to be pretty incredible. So stay tuned. There's a bunch of good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yes, stay tuned for that. And also, struggling tonight. Stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for our next episode.
We're going to film some more. So, Glenn, tell them what to do.
We want you to go to Instagram, So Into Bourbon, Whiskey Realtor on TikTok, as long as TikTok exists in the United States, and So Into Bourbon on Facebook.
That's right. We have a Facebook. And most importantly, keep those wallets loose.
And your bunholes tight.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Fred Minnick. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're back. Nope, we're not back. We're rubbing our
Having contact problems all of a sudden. Charlie.
Cut. Print.
All right, let's
Post
try this
it.
again.
Here we go. No, are we allowed to say Fred Minnick?
I'm going to put Fred Minnick in the title.
Full disclosure, we haven't filmed in weeks. We haven't filmed since before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Pa-pa, and we'll push them together. If I ever make a movie, which I will, it's called Airplane. It's a comedy about the airport.
That's a stupid idea. It'll never fly. Surely you're kidding.
It'll never fly. That was awesome. Did you think of that? That was
This came off the top of my head,
That
man.
was amazing.
All right.
You'll be chasing that high for the rest of your life.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.